also reminds us of our responsibility to protect and defend human life at every stage of its development.
All right, folks, I'm going to get back to that because I want to ask Bill Donohue about that statement by the Pope. But first, we welcome in Bill Donohue, president of the Catholic League, Newsmax Contributor, and author of The Catholic Advantage. And Bill, first of all, last time you were here, you revealed for the first time on this show that you were going to meet the Pope. You were keeping it under a hat because you didn't want the Catholic left to sabotage it. They did not. Tell me what happened, what it was like meeting the Pope yesterday.
Well, it was a very special event. I was in the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle, which is the Archdiocesan church, and it was mostly the bishops. I recognized some of them, of course, and said hello to a few of them. I also got a chance to say hello to Chief Justice John Roberts.
Yeah.
But most of the people, the lay people I did not know, they knew me, and many of them, in fact, Catholic League members, and so I received a very warm ovation there from those people. But the Pope came in, he was about 45 minutes late, and walks with a little bit of a limp. He's not a tall man. He goes up to the altar, then over to the side, and then he kind of disappeared for a little bit, and then he came back right by our aisle, and the Vice President of the Catholic League, Bernadette Brady-Egan, got a chance to shake hands with him at that point. And then he gave a homily, which went on for quite a while. On the plus side, it was something which had something for everyone. He did not allow himself to be exploited by the left or the right. He touched on a lot of the familiar areas. And on the minus side, I said it's a little bit disjointed. It has sometimes these speeches have the marks of 2 or 3 people who are trying to make a speech, so it lacks a little coherency. Mm-hmm. But he certainly covered all of his bases. After it was over, a select group of lay people, maybe 2 dozen, were asked to go into this hallway in this area, like a room, a pretty good sized room, and there they wait in line to go up to greet the Holy Father. Now, I've known Archbishop Worrell since my days in Pittsburgh when I was a professor. He was the Bishop of Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. He's a great man. And when I came up with Bernadette, of course, Worrell recognized me, and he said something whispered in the ear of the Pope in Spanish. I don't know exactly what he said, in all honesty, but I know that the Pope just broke out into a radiant smile, and it made me feel like $1 million. And I just kind of tapped him on the shoulder and said, "It's great to be here, nice to meet you." And the next thing you know, the number of flashes are going on by the photographers. So it was a little meet and greet. There was no extensive conversation. I'm not going to lie about it. It was just an honor to be in his presence.
But you felt that he was told something by the Archbishop that made him smile as it relates to you, and that smile was reflected when you went up to him.
Yes, he no doubt said something nice about me, which is probably a lie. And he spoke out.
Very nice. Very nice.
No. I mean, listen, I've known Archbishop Worrell for a long time. He's a great man. And yes, he obviously said something that won over the Pope,
Good,
and
you
it won
it.
me over.
I'm glad for you. That's a great experience, and I'm happy for you. Now, let me ask you real quick 2 things. One, well, I don't want to lose this, so let's start with the Empire State Building. Is it true that the Empire State Building has been asked to light up for the Pope tonight, but they refuse?
Nobody asked them. I've asked them to light up for the centenary, the 100th anniversary of the birth of Mother Teresa, and I got stiffed on that, as you know, in 2010 and held a demonstration. Nobody needs to ask Anthony Malkin, the principal owner of this iconic building, to light up for anybody. They just simply do it. We checked with the Empire State Building. We found out that the authorities over there, they're lighting up tonight for the opening gala of the New York Philharmonic. Isn't that so sweet? Once again, Catholics get stiffed by this guy Malkin. Now, he'll come back and say, "Oh, well, we don't acknowledge religious leaders." Well, they do. They acknowledge Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, as they should. And the Pope is also a head of state, so he stiffs it to Catholics one more time.
Unbelievable. All right, let me ask you this. You know, I heard you take George Will to task, but I want to earlier today. But I want to ask you about the Pope. You heard when we came out, he talked about the sanctity of life from every stage. That's as specific he got when it came to abortion, unless I missed something in his speech today. But he did specifically talk about ending capital punishment. Does it seem in the presentation that he cares more about the few people on death row who murdered people than he does about, you know, the unborn?
I tell you, if you look just at that speech, you might conclude that. I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. The most important thing he did in 2 days in Washington, D.C., and I covered it very closely, was his unscheduled visit, which was underreported by the media. Big surprise here, big shocker. When he stopped off last night to see the Little Sisters of the Poor. That was a cultural marker. It was a slap in the face to the Obama administration. The Obama administration is trying to force those nuns to pay for abortion-inducing drugs in their health care plans. He didn't have to do that, but he did. The Pope stopped. I love it.
Would you like to have heard a little more specific to abortion, though?
Well, of course. I mean, there's no question about it. But on the way coming back from Cuba to the United States, he spoke about abortion.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to hear it a lot more this weekend when you talk about the world media and families. That's when you're going to talk about families and abortion. You'll hear more about that.
Always great to talk to you. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you. The Malzberg panel's next. Don't go away. As the Pope's historic visit to the United States continues to dominate the headlines, more and more Americans are asking, who is Pope Francis? As always, Newsmax has got you covered. Learn more about Pope Francis and his humble rise to the Vatican in the book Francis, A Pope for Our Time. Get this special offer right now at newsmax.com/pope or by calling 800-203-7047. Learn about the personal experiences that shape Pope Francis' pastoral commitment to society's most underprivileged and disenfranchised with this hardcover biography from Newsmax. Order right now at newsmax.com/pope or call 800-203-7047.